Hey fam, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining me in this All Signs Tarot reading. This round, I would like to go over a general message of positivity for January of 2025. You know how it is with community reads, take what resonates and what doesn't. That's just somebody else's, and that's okay. And yeah, I will let you know right off the bat that in the pre-shuffling of the prep for this video, I kept seeing cards like Wounded Warrior and Wounded Healer, as well as the Nine of Swords. And what was the other one? There was another Five of Swords. So I have a feeling that this is for a collective that has been through a lot. This has been a process of healing for you and transformation. So if that kind of speaks to you, those wounded healers and warriors, then welcome. Thank you so much for keeping me company. And you know what? It's okay if if that's, it's just, it's cool just to hang. I can keep you company while you vacuum or something. I don't mind. Either way, thank you so much for joining. Let's see what kind of message for January of 2025 we shall receive this round. This round, how many of them am I going to do? My goodness gracious, Amy. So, like I said, I have pre-shuffled. Let's begin with cutting the decks together and the archetypes. My goodness, I have been fumbling away, I tell you. Card number one is the Underworld. Well then. Alrighty. This, I feel, is not only speaking to things like the clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, and the like, and receiving messages from ancestors. The vibe that I'm definitely getting from this right now is someone who, even though it's survival mode, even though the human body doesn't really do well with all of these stressors and everything for long periods of time, and whatever it is that you may imbibe in at whatever point in your life, right, throughout. This speaks to me of being able to get comfortable down there in the darkness. Some, when they hit rock bottom, they grab a shovel instead of, build a ladder, right? And it's like, on the one hand, we can also help so many while we're in that position, right? Some may be like a moth or a flame to moths and such. And the problem with that, though, is all too often there's self-sacrifice going on, that we come to realize we've sacrificed off parts of ourselves that we were never meant to lose or give up. But we did it because of survival mode, because we did what we had to do. The only way that we knew how to handle it with our unhealthy coping mechanisms that all too often we're taught in life, or we learn in life, either way, right? For some, there's a fear of where these instincts have been coming from, or what, for the longest time, I was like scared of what I could see. And then one day I kind of asked myself, like, what if you've been seeing people, ghosts or what have you, this whole time? You just didn't realize that that's what certain people really were, right? Like out in a crowd, at the grocery store, at the mall, whatever, right? Sometimes, like, the unknown can be scary, especially, if we watch a lot of horror. But, read it, whatever. But it's kind of like there's this underlying heads up / friendly warning of just be careful of how comfortable you feel down there, right? Kind of like when you don't really have a mentor, when you don't really have someone to help you build your gifts, work on your gifts, feel secure and safe, and at the very least your own normal, whatever normal means, right? Gift, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's a matter of just being able to not lose that thread, that connection to reality, right? And kitty sneeze. I feel like that's what I'm tapping into here, is someone who has spent a long time in the dark, and they don't belong surrounded by darkness. They don't deserve that. Like, regardless of who we deal with in our lives and who we accept into our lives, some of us are just, we're such magnets. You know what I mean? And it can be really difficult to figure out how to process that, right? What it means for you. And then also having to deal with your family and friends and how different people accept us or don't, right? Like, if that makes any sense. But I feel like there are those who have been figuring out what that means for them. This connection and just being alive, being human, right? And just, don't get lost in the sauce, okay? Moving on to the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. This card is obsessed with me, okay? Listen, this card will not stop being drawn. Can't stop, won't stop. How is that for happily ever after? See? You don't belong down there. There's a difference between being able to tap into things and being able to help others and it being detrimental to us. And you need to find that balance because you do deserve to be happy. That's a pretty darn good affirmation for January of 2025. I am living my happily ever after. Period. All right? This, when you... this speaks to overcoming so much. And, we got an 8 and a 9. So, being able to trust that things are working as they're meant to. And it's all enabling us to grow and evolve and not only be stronger and wiser, but resilient. Better able to handle whatever comes, what may, so that we can help others, so that we can do our part. And stop worrying about it being such a big part, right? Like, take some of the pressure off of our shoulders and allow ourselves to breathe and find air that lacks in toxicity, right? You are living your happily ever after. What does that look like for you? And how would you feel if you were free, right? Oops, I was totally blocking that 9. Okie dokie, fam. What time is it? It's clarification time. All right, that was totally off. Thank you for your patience. Don't mind me. This is YouTube. We're going to lighten the mood and be silly, okay? That's how I prefer things. So, I like to think of the tarot as its own story, right? And each chapter may actually, it's just, what's chapter 1? geez Louise. Well, there's the 10. 8, 9, 10. Not just any 10, and not just the 10 of Pentacles, because remember, the Pentacles isn't just about money. Pentacles are everything. They're all those seeds planted, growing, thriving. This is your lineage. This is your this is your legacy, right? Whether it's a biological family or your chosen soul family, your friends, your community, being able to be free to grow old, older, and wiser. Please do, right? There's still so much to experience and live through and enjoy, right? The more we learn, the better it can become. The better it's allowed to become. The 10 speak of completion of cycles, and having the 8, 9, 10 from the get-go, the very first card, speaking volumes, right? How's that for completion, and how's that for happily ever after? From the depths, right on into the light. What's the next card? Boosh. There's my favorite aspect of this card that tends to speak of lack, or at least that mentality, fear of missing out or not having enough. What exactly does that even mean for you? Because if we want to get to the root of it all, then what are the things that truly make us feel safe, that make us feel like we're set for life and living our happily ever after, throwing away the shovel and building a frickin' ladder out of the dark, out of the depths, and living, truly living. My favorite aspect of this card is that these two are in movement. They keep moving. They're not crouched under the window. Woe is me. They're in movement. They don't even have shoes on, yet they're in movement. They have not given up. Times may be difficult at the moment. We can accept our predicaments. We can accept our lives and what's happened because we know what we're capable of. We know what we want, and we know how simple it really is to have those things. We're surrounded by examples of what's possible, right? I like to think that there's a door right here off to the side of a card, and that's what they're going for. They're done with the lack. They aren't missing out on anything. You're not going to miss what's meant for you. If you're willing to have that dedication and that focus and the ability to believe in yourself, that's only going to enable you. What's the next card? Boosh. So whatever it is that has been holding you back. My angle and your angle are two completely different things, my friends. So forgive me if I'm just like still flashing everybody on YouTube. But these two are chained and bound. But this card is also, it's very earthly. So while it may be speaking of tethers and unhealthy coping mechanisms and old habits and negativity, illusions, and falling for the bullshit and drama and constant strife and survival mode, being unsure of what the heck that even means. It's earth. And that is what that's just reading. And the earth is everything. It's everything. The devil is 15 and we got a 10 and a 5 up here. What's next? The 9 of Wands. 2 9s. 9s are, it's 8, 9, 10, right? So they play their part in letting you know, no, this is the end of the cycle. Enjoy the quiet. Oh, kitty's gonna kitty. It's your chance to breathe. It's your chance to heal. Look at all these budding wands. New ideas, new life. Taking all of your passion, all of your courage, pulling from the reserves, and knowing how to take care of yourself. Knowing that you have every right to it, to being okay, to being able to heal. Right? Their bandages, their main shirt, their undershirt are white, which tells me that what they're not doing, they weren't doing anything wrong. Right? They were trying their best and doing their best. And now the cycle is completing. And they're going to take that wisdom, they're going to take their passions and that courage and move the heck on. And enjoy living their happily ever after, right? What's going to come up underneath the 10 of Pentacles? The Knight of Swords. Someone may be receiving a message relatively soon. If not later on today. That we're going to go with good news. But it may be as simple as someone saying something that really just things click for you. You know, it's like when a writer has a particular hole in their plot when they're working on their first draft and it's driving them nuts, right? Because they can tell they're the closest to it, right? And so they got to take like a day away from it. Just put it down for a moment, right? Walk away. And then someone, you know, on a show or over the phone, whatever the heck, in a video on YouTube, says something so simple. But it's like, boosh, Epiphany City, right? Could be as simple as that. But there's clarity coming in hot that is linked to your legacy, that is linked to your goals and what you've been focused on, what's been mattering to you. And building that foundation, right? It's coming up underneath the 5 of Pentacles, the Hermit. Not all who wander are lost, fam. My favorite aspect of the Hermit is that he's got a star inside that lantern. And that's what's guiding him. And a lot of times, I can't help but notice when these two cards come up together because it kind of looks like him. Or their peers at the very least, right? And that's another 9. That's 3 9s, fam. This Hermit has gone up onto the mountain to... It's kind of similar to the 4 of Swords, where it's like getting away from distractions getting, like, all the stuff that we're raised on that just kind of we fumble over throughout our lives because we're not being true to ourselves, right? Or we have somebody else's voice caught in a loop in our head that keeps taking us down pegs or twos, and, you know, we need to remember who we are and what drives us. What are these pentacles for? What are all these seeds? And what is it for, right? What does that mean for us? Why do we keep getting tripped up? Over what? Why? Remembering the sound of our own heartbeat, our own opinions, our own wants and desires. Recognizing what it means and why they tell us when, you know, you're in a plane to put on your own oxygen mask first before you help somebody else. Right? You have your own light. And that should be what's leading you. That can enable you to be on this earthly plane, still free to be yourself, to heal, to grow and evolve. Able to move on, because you can have as many fresh starts as you want, fam. As many as you want. Just, you know, keep your wits about you. Don't be too hasty. Be sure. What's going to come up underneath the Devil? The Ace of Pentacles. Wow. That kind of opens up the idea of the Devil card there a wee bit, doesn't it? Because that's looking like, here you go, right here in the earthly plane. Things are changing for people this month. There are new ideas, new seeds being sown this very month. Maybe this is something you've really been wanting to do, and now you're able to have the clarity of knowing exactly how to go about it because of everything you've been through, because of all that wisdom that you've gained from, you know, going to hell and coming back, right? Being able to heal and learn how to trust yourself. No matter where you go, come what may, knowing that the worst is behind you. Well, I guess that just opens up a whole new route of possibilities, doesn't it? What's going to come up underneath the Nine of Wands? The Six of Cups. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. For a lot of us, this is healing that inner child, right? A lot of this was enabled because of things that happened then, right? There was someone that you trusted who may have led you astray. They were family. They were supposed to be trusted. But you can take care of yourself. You aren't cruel. You're not manipulative. You don't want to be. Hurt hurts, right? You don't want to hurt anyone, and you don't want to be hurt anymore. These cups are full of flowers. And there's a guard in the background. These kids are safe. Safe to love, safe to play. They're not worried about bills. They're not worried about adult bullshit. What's the epilogue to this story? Oh, man. Oh, this could be love, but this could also just be harmonious relationships, whatever the flavor, right? Acceptance, alignment. Okay, so today is the day of interruptions every 3 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me, fam. Always remember that I love you.